Hello, my name is Anne. Welcome to my mobile homestead. You are watching a funny thing happen on the way to the garden, and today we are going to make split pea soup. I have a chronic illness. I've kind of discussed that before, but sometimes you just need something that's super simple to make and doesn't take a whole lot of effort and thought. And this is a great meal for that. It's something you can just throw in the crock pot, let go for 4 hours on high or 8 hours on low, depending on if you're home or not, and have a wonderful, hearty, nutritious soup without without having to exhaust yourself. So we'll just go through the ingredients real quick. We're just gonna layer it up in the crock pot, and then at the end I'll bring it back and I'll show you how I kind of season it up at the end. You just need like a little 1 pound bag of split peas. I've rinsed them off in here. I went through and made sure there were no like little pebbles in them or anything. Rinse them off. I'm using, once again, this diced mirepoix mix, onions, carrots, and celery. You can just use this and not also do carrots, but I like some bigger chunks of carrots, so I cut up a few carrots. I bought diced potatoes. You can dice your own. Again, all of this stuff you can kind of do more or like from scratch if you want, but I am tired, so we're doing simple. So I got some diced potatoes. I got some diced ham. Again, with this, another thing you can do is you can, when you're making a ham, take that meaty ham bone and put that in, and then, you know, get the meat off of it afterwards. That does add more depth of flavor, but right now my oven isn't working. I can't make a ham. Another alternative that you can do is you can buy like the smoked ham hocks and throw one of those in, or a couple. I find that that is too much of a smoky flavor for me. Tom really liked it, but I did not. So we're keeping it a little more simple this time. And then when I ordered my groceries from Walmart this week, I ordered 2 bags of this. I got 1 bag of this and some pearl onions. I have no use for pearl onions, but onions are good for you, and they're good in this soup. So we're just gonna throw those in because I have them. I've got 8 cups here of bone broth that I made at home in this crock pot, actually. I just used the carcasses of a couple of rotisserie chickens. For seasonings, what I like to use is marjoram, parsley, bay leaves. You can use some thyme. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. And then, you know, your garlic, onion, salt, and pepper. We're just gonna layer this up real quick. Just dump the potatoes in. I'm gonna put the pearl onions in toward the bottom so they get a good chance to like cook up. I'm using a crock pot liner. They are nylon, not plastic. All right, then we're gonna put in carrots. like I said, I like big chunks of carrots with my bigger chunks of potato, and I just think that makes for like a nice bite. But if you don't like those bigger chunks, you can just get like a couple bags of the mirepoix mix. This is gonna have, you know, your onions, your carrots, and your celery all in it. Or like if you have picky eaters that you're hiding the vegetables from, this is a great way to do it. We're gonna put in our ham next. This is super simple to throw together. And then we just put in our split peas. Now when you rinse them off, they are gonna kind of stick together a little bit. But like, you know, the water's pretty cloudy, so it's worth it to give them a little rinse. But again, you don't really have to. I haven't died when I haven't done it, so it'll be fine. But I'm just kind of spread that out, and we got all the layers in. We are gonna add some initial seasoning. The majority of the like final kind of seasoning I'm gonna do at the end, just because you got to taste it and figure out where it's at. So we're gonna throw in some garlic. All right, I've got 6 little bay leaf things in there. It means I need to take 6 out when I'm done. I'm gonna put in my marjoram, which is an herb I use a lot in soups in the winter. So definitely looking forward to growing some this year in the garden. And really for seasoning, you can stop with marjoram and bay leaves and the garlic and be fine. You might need some salt. I home canned this broth here. I didn't add any salt to it. so I'm probably gonna need to add salt at some point. If you're like buying bone broth or chicken broth or whatever, that can be salty enough usually. You might not have to add salt then. I wish I had some fresh parsley still, but I used it all up because I didn't grow a ton. But parsley is good for you. When I'm deciding how much I'm gonna add, I do like to smell the herb because that kind of gives you, you know, our smell and our taste are very connected. Last little step here before we get this going is we're just gonna pour our broth over this. And you see that just kind of barely covers it. And then we cover it up. I'm gonna turn mine on high because I'm gonna be here for 4 hours. If I were like throwing this together before I went to work to have for dinner after work, then I just put it on low, 8 hours, but high, 4 to 5 hours. I'll bring you back. I'll show you what it looks like after it's done. It's gonna be that nice thick split pea soup consistency. The peas are gonna just naturally break down in this longer cooking process. It's a nice hearty soup to have for the really cold winter days, which we have coming up. Winter finally hit here in Iowa pretty hard. So not so much with the snow, but we're in like single digits and negatives. It's gonna be nice to have this kind of stick to your bones soup. So we'll bring you back in a few hours and see how it's going. It's many hours later, more than 4. One of the things that I forgot about this is it's better to just put it on low for 8 hours. The peas break down a little better. This is what it looks like. See, the peas are pretty well mushed. There's still a little bit of structure to some of the peas, but when this cools, it's gonna get really super thick, like you're used to seeing pea soup, super thick. So we're just going to do some tasting. What I've started doing, especially with tasting my soups, is put a little bit in this little tiny bowl. It's easier to cool it off and to get like a couple of tastes so I can figure out what it is it needs. So this is really like the key to cooking. The seasoning is always to taste. So we're gonna, okay, right off I can tell it definitely needs salt, which I expected it to. So we're gonna add some salt here, some black pepper, because I love black pepper. If you don't like black pepper, you wouldn't add it, you know? This is about what you like, but kind of it's the basic seasonings that I have found I use for everything is garlic, onion, salt, and pepper. That goes in just about every savory thing I make. And those flavors are kind of universal to all kinds of cooking. I've seen from other cultures too. They pretty much all have those basic things. So usually I'd let it cook a little longer and then do more tasting, but I'm kind of anxious to get this done because it's 1 o'clock in the morning, which this is a normal time for me to be up. I work until 12:30 a.m. usually. So we're gonna just taste the salt level, and it's pretty good. It's pretty close. Really, it just needs a little more of everything. Okay. One more taste. Hopefully, we got it nailed this time. Yeah, I think we got it. That's good. That tastes like a cozy winter night. There we have our finished product. Most of this is gonna get eaten up this week by me and my family, but I do have, with all these soups that I've been showing you, I've been using these freezer cubes, super cubes. I don't think they're that particular brand, but generally making cubes and freezing it of the soups that I make, so that like last week I didn't have to cook. So like I still have a bunch of chili, some turkey stew, and some broccoli cauliflower cheese soup. I got a couple of those. So that's another handy little tip I can give you. If you can freeze some portions, like make a bigger batch like this, Even if you're not going to eat it all, freeze some portions, you'll have it for a while, and then I can have a variety of soups. That's always really nice because I enjoy a nice cozy soup, but it kind of sucks having the same soup over and over and over, even if it's my favorite one. So that's a handy little tip I'm gonna give. So I'm gonna leave you with that. I'm gonna get these put away. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you learned something today, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.